Hello everyone, my name is Tania Edwards. I'm the sales manager at LISOF, the School of Fashion, proudly part of Stadio. Tonight we will be interviewing Danielle Kushlick, the designer of Truworths. The great thing is Danny and I work together, and Danny and I had an amazing relationship. We were in sales together, and she studied at LISOF. So tonight the exciting thing will be to see my good friend again, which I look forward to. So she's now moved to Cape Town, so I don't see much of her. So I really look forward to actually, engaging with her and asking her a lot of questions. So I look forward to actually, she'll be joining me shortly in a minute or so. And I look forward to seeing her again, and we can have a nice chat with her. I think Danny's coming live now. Oh, Danny, how's it? Oh, it's so nice to see you again. It's been so long.
Oh, too long. I missed you.
Oh, I've missed you like crazy, hey? Oh, well, say hello, everyone. Oh, yeah, we are actually. Yes, exactly. And very nice and warm, considering there's a cold front coming. We must prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah, same here. Cape Town's cold.
Now, okay, so basically, I'd like to introduce you to Danielle Kushlick. I call her Danny. She's a designer at Truworths. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you for having me, and hello, everyone.
Okay, so so Dan, now you and I, you studied at LISOF. I studied at LISOF. For me, it was 25 years ago. For you, it was about 4 years ago.
5 years ago, I did the math. It's my birthday actually on Thursday, and I was doing the math, and it was about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh wow, hey! And it feels like time just flew a bit, hey?
Feeling quite
Has time just flown, Danny?
Those were the best, exciting.
Okay.
Having had that experience.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Wow. And I mean, let's talk about right from the beginning. I mean, why did you choose fashion?
It's a kind of long answer with not a very interesting story. I kind of just got into it. I loved dressing up my Barbies. I loved art. I loved sewing. I loved bossing around my mom, telling her what to wear. So I kind of knew from a young age I loved clothing and I loved to make things. So it was kind of a natural fit. So I decided young that that's what I wanted to do, and I'm doing it.
Amazing, amazing. Now, okay, so let's start from the beginning. What did you study at LISOF?
So I got my bachelor's degree in fashion, and I majored in pattern design, so that's the technical side, as well as creative design, so that's very pure design work. And then I was lucky enough that I could also specialize in trend analysis and media studies. So all of them kind of work really nicely together.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Wow. And I mean, that degree you studied for 3 years?
Yes. So that was my 3-year degree. And then I did a fourth year. In my fourth year, I did my honors year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So maybe tell us about your honors. What did honors entail, and how was it for you?
So back in my day when I did honors, it was quite an academic process, which really suited me because I love fashion academia. It's really interesting to me. And so it was a full year of studying, learning new analysis skills, and then eventually writing your thesis on your topic that you could actually choose. So it was very interesting, and I gained a lot of skills out of that process.
Okay, okay. And so your classes were in the evenings?
Yes. So
Okay.
luckily for me, I was actually working at LISOF and doing my honors. So
Okay.
it suited me really well because I was kind of seeing the fashion education side of things as I worked in sales with you.
Yes.
And then I got to then go and do my honors classes at night. So
Okay.
it was a cool experience.
Okay. And I mean, I'm sure you had to do a lot of research,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, and could I ask what was your topic with regards to your honors dissertation?
Sure. It's quite a weird topic considered. A lot of people go into like pure fashion, but I
Yeah.
did something quite abstract, and I
Okay.
did the narrative function of tattoos for white women in 21st century South Africa, um, which is, yeah, it's quite a unique topic, but it all related back to fashion because it's basically learning different narratives through a
Yeah.
woman's expression of tattoos. Um,
Yeah.
so it used fashion theory along with a lot of kind of psychological and different social theories as well.
Yes. Okay. Wow. And I mean, that means that you must have a couple of tattoos then, Dan.
It's so funny you said that because at the time I had none. I'd
Oh,
always wanted,
I
always been
see.
fascinated, but now I have a few. Yes, I'm
Yes.
guilty now. I did.
Yeah.
I did succumb
Which,
to the temptation.
yes, absolutely. Of course. And I mean, it gives you more of an identity to express yourself, you know?
Completely, completely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Okay, and then so from honors, would you say, having completed your honors, did it prepare you going into the fashion industry and into the workplace?
Um, I actually didn't realize how much it did at the time. It's only now that I look back that I can see what
Okay.
skills I really learned. Especially with my current job, there's a lot of research that you've got to do. And an honors year definitely gives you the skill of being able to go out, read, absorb, and
Mm,
then express yourself um, in an understandable way. So it's about how to
mm,
sift through a whole bunch of information and
mm.
communicate it. Because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, um, it's a communication skill,
yeah,
gathering and then how to communicate your
yeah.
message.
And probably also problem solving, I would imagine. That,
Completely,
yeah,
completely. You've got a topic that you've got to now prove a point or
yeah,
substantiate an idea. And I mean, it's not at a level of a doctorate or a master's, but it
yeah.
definitely just it raises your level of thinking that I
Mm,
think um, helps you in any kind of job that you go
yeah,
into.
yeah. Can you imagine? And I mean, from an honors, then you could go into masters, I would imagine,
Yes,
if you want
you
to.
can. I've thought about it.
Mm.
So maybe in the future. Yeah,
In the
definitely.
cards. Okay,
Yes.
amazing. And I mean, so was your job, your first job actually at TCI Apparel in Cape Town?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. So I was at sales with you, Dream
Yes.
Team, and
Dream
then
team.
I was a lecturer, and then I lectured at
That's
LISOF. And
nice.
actually, while I was lecturing, these suppliers from Cape Town came and were interviewing students. And actually, LISOF put me forward and was like, "Why don't you go and interview?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And I just went for it, and it completely changed my life. So now I'm here in Cape Town, and I worked in a factory as a merchandiser, which is very fabric orientated. And then
Yeah.
I was a designer. Um, so yeah, that's the supplying, manufacturing side of fashion that a lot of people don't get experience in.
Yeah, so maybe tell us about the manufacturing side, like being a merchandiser. What do you what entails? What happens in a day's work being in manufacturing as a merchandiser?
There's actually it's there's so much you do behind the scenes before your clothing gets into store. So whatever you guys are wearing right now, there's a lot of work that's gone behind that little garment. Let
Mm,
me tell you, from you've got to source and price fabric. Then
mm,
you've got to communicate with the buyers from the retailers and make sure that they're getting a good price. Then
mm,
you've got to make sure that the design is communicating well enough to your sample set, and those samples are made for your buyers to approve. And once that approved, then I'm really like making a summary. There's lots more to it. And then it goes to a factory and then it gets made. And it's a lot again about problem solving, because once you start in the manufacturing world and there's problems with fabric, or there's problems with the factory, or there's delays, you've got to be quick on your feet. And it's the kind of job that you learn how to do only when you're there.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, absolutely. Okay. And I mean, from there, then you moved to Truworths.
Yes. So actually, luckily, the department I worked for at TCI was a Truworths department. So I knew a few Truworths people, and now I'm part of the fashion studio team there. So yeah, all my jobs have kind of linked from one to the other.
Okay. Okay. And what does your job entail now?
So I'm on the junior range of what designers do, but to give you a broad overview, what we do as a group is that we're basically the brains of the company. So we're just constantly feeding information to the company about what's happening overseas in terms of trend, what's happening in terms of fabric. So that's just in a nutshell what we do on a daily basis, as well as also working very closely with your buying teams and your planning teams if they need any technical advice, because some of us come from manufacturing, so we can offer our manufacturing knowledge to them.
Yes, I hear you. Okay. And I mean, from your, like maybe in your general opinion, what are your feelings about the current trends at the moment?
I'd say globally, I mean, we can't not talk about the effect of Corona, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I think everything is just being affected, especially fashion. So the trends in general, I just think there's a general slowdown. And I think we're going to see that going forward with consumer behavior. Everyone's going to become more thoughtful in their purchases. So I think fast fashion as we know it, that's kind of led the way for the last, a lot of years, is going to change, and that essentially is going to affect trends. Because not everyone's going to be so consumed about, oh, this is new and that is new, and I think it's just going to completely, the pace will definitely shift.
And I suppose people also will buy, spend their money more wisely, and maybe perhaps buy more classic pieces that will hold over a few seasons.
Completely. People are becoming much more conscious. Very conscious about their purchases. So it's not going to be about the hottest, sexiest thing, although there is a place for that, I feel.
Yes.
It's going to definitely in the next couple of months to maybe even the next couple of years, there's going to be definitely far-reaching effects.
Yes, no, definitely, I can imagine. And I mean, how is your working environment now? Obviously with COVID-19 obviously there's a lot less people at work. Are you still going into work every day?
So, I mean, it's obviously all government regulations, you're only allowed to have a certain amount of people. So all businesses are, their workforce is going to be in there, half in, half out. And it's just a shift system that every company really has to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, wow. So look, I suppose we all have to adapt at the end of it. This is becoming the norm, Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Completely. You have to like shift our schedules.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I mean, considering I suppose that COVID-19 had such a negative effect, just generally, making people feel insecure, and unsure. But obviously, being in your position, I think you always have to be ahead of the pack, and keep enthusiastic and keep positive, and I think that there's obviously, your passion is always there as a designer, and you have to inspire yourself to be positive. So what still excites you about the industry, would you say?
Well, I mean, during this, I feel like just touching on what you said, during this time,
Yes.
designers have to be
Yeah.
positive,
Yeah.
and this is the time where we thrive
Mm.
when there's a problem
Mm.
and
Yeah.
people need solutions. So as a designer, no matter whether you're in any business, any side of the industry, you need
Mm.
to be constantly looking for solutions. And I think maybe that's what excites me about the industry, is that there's a lot of opportunity, and we're quite a young country, and therefore we're quite a young design and fashion industry. So
Yes.
we still got a long way to go. So it's exciting that
Yeah.
we're young because we're not encumbered by a whole lot of fashion politics, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's really, and it really starts with people who are who are at LISOF now, who are going to go to LISOF. They're going to be the new generation of fashion people going into the industry. So
Yes.
it's really important that they know that they need to be kind of the change makers in the industry
Yeah.
going forward.
No.
And that's exciting that there's a future.
Yes. No, definitely. I think there always is. At the end of the day, as maybe, times aren't going to be easy, everyone's uncertain what's going to happen this year. At the end of the day, people will always wear clothing, I think, at the end of the day, and they always want to look good, because if you look good, you feel good. And that just puts you in a good mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
We can't, also, I just want to say, like, we're in fashion.
Yeah.
Okay, we make clothes. We can't take ourselves too seriously.
Yes.
And that's something that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
That we can't take ourselves too seriously. So in whatever
Yeah.
way you can, have a
Yeah.
positive effect, because
Yeah.
it's just fashion. It's supposed to be fun. And I
Yeah.
think, yes, there's definitely going to be a functional kind of shift because
Yes.
of the current environment. But
Yes.
we've got to keep the supply of fun as well.
Yes. No, definitely. And I think that, at the end of the day, I think having studied fashion anyway, it's, of course, you have to keep it light. And in any environment, you have to keep it happy, because obviously whatever your perception is has an effect on your work at the end of the day. So be it in designing, color,
Yeah.
as you look at trends and things like that, we always look at ourselves emotionally. And, at the end of the day, I think it needs to come out, the positivity.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, because basically what I've always said when I was doing workshops with students and when I was lecturing myself, what I always used to say is that when you study fashion, you're basically studying society and you're studying people,
Mm-hmm.
because we're
Yeah.
servicing people. And
Yeah.
currently the zeitgeist is really interesting,
Yes.
and therefore design should reflect that.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. And maybe just touching on the last sort of question, what advice would you give to someone wanting to actually get into the fashion industry?
Oh, that's a tough question. I guess my best advice is just probably maybe just what I've learned from my own experiences, which is, don't pigeonhole yourself into an idea of where you fit in the industry. I think the best thing is to just take every opportunity as it comes. Go out and look for opportunities to learn about different parts in the industry, because the industry is hard. I'm not going to lie, guys. Those of you who are just entering, it's hard. So you've got to make yourself flexible. And that means you've got to have different sides of you that you can offer the industry. So definitely, before you decide, I'm definitely going to be a designer, or I'm definitely going to be a buyer, or I'm going to go into marketing, get as much experience and learn and just meet different people and speak to people in the industry, because that'll make you an asset to the industry itself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of, students or people, start a degree, studying, fashion, and they have one idea, and maybe after the 3 years, they come out, and then it depends on opportunity, what comes your way at the end of the day, So, I mean,
you've got to be flexible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember I worked at Igoli, Place of Gold, and I mean, we were making turkey costumes, you know, right through to making Lona Brumilda van Rensburg's, you know, boutique outfits to
Oh my
a wedding
goodness.
dress. You know, so you have to be so adaptable, you know. So especially, I
Well,
think, yeah, and I think also working as an entrepreneur and working for yourself as a fashion designer, I think you have to do
that's
it all.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
completely. I mean, my friends who have gone out on their own and
Mm,
either succeeded or tried and haven't done as well as
mm,
they'd hoped,
mm,
you've definitely got a view when you come out of any degree of how you want your life to go. And I think if you
yeah,
can don't put that pressure on yourself. Just
yeah.
literally take whatever comes your way. Because I mean, when I was lecturing, I was thinking, I'm gonna go into film, I'm gonna be a
Mm,
stylist on
mm,
movies, and
mm,
and
mm.
now I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah, no,
So
for sure.
just be adaptable.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. We've got a question that's actually come,
Yeah.
and actually it might not be an easy one to sort of talk about love, but someone has asked, actually Papa Smurf has actually asked about what have your hardships been and how have you overcome them?
Hardships in terms of the industry, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I experienced probably the most hardship when I moved to Cape Town and was in the manufacturing industry.
Mm,
Because there you really realize that fashion is not glamorous by
yeah.
any means, and it is a
Mm,
business. You
mm,
always hear it, people
mm,
tell you that, but you don't realize unless you
mm,
get there that the whole idea that you've built in your mind about what fashion is actually built on business and numbers at the end
mm,
of the day.
mm,
So it's a very different side of fashion that I had to adapt to. And I wasn't necessarily ready for it
mm.
because it's a harsh environment and they throw you in there. But
Yeah,
that's the best way to learn. So I
yeah,
think that's one of the biggest hardships is having that reality check
yeah,
of this other side of the industry, which
yeah.
is basically the backbone of the entire industry.
Yes.
So, my also advice is if you get a chance to experience that,
Mm,
you'll definitely be a well-rounded designer. I
mm,
definitely feel
yeah.
um, better informed, not
Mm,
having known what work and what energy and what time and what waste
mm,
we produce as an industry.
yeah.
So that's probably how I'd answer that question.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think also a lot of you know, students or designers in the especially studying, you know, think that it's very glamorous. They think fashion shows, you know, celebrities, and at the end of the day, that's a small percentage of it. You know, the big
Yeah.
percentage is in the studio, getting your hands dirty, you know, pricking. The worst is, you know, using work, doing hand work, and the next thing I remember working on a wedding dress and boom, you prick yourself and there's blood,
And you're
you know, on
bleeding.
your white wedding dress or, you know, things
I
like
did
that.
that. I did that with a friend. We were interning with Suzanne Haynes,
Oh, yes.
and yeah, and we were doing this wedding dress, and we were pinning lace, and we literally got blood on this dress. Well, did we stick tulle over that blood stain so quickly? So there's
Yeah,
literally blood, sweat, and tears behind everything
yeah.
pretty in the world.
And it's many hours. I mean, sometimes you can work through the night, you know, there's, you know, time doesn't matter. As long as you
No,
get, you know, that the customer, the bride, the deadline is met, you know, then you can sleep,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same in retail. There's a brief that needs to get out, and
Yes.
you're part of a team that finishes that brief, or
Mm,
there's an order that needs to be fulfilled,
mm,
or
yeah.
there's a CAD
Yeah.
that needs to be done and sent to an overseas supplier. Time
Yes.
is everything in this
Yeah.
industry. Literally, it's everything. I learned in the factory that time of sewing actually amounts to a certain cost.
Yes,
So
yes.
when they say
The longer
time
you
means money,
spend, that's it, the more expensive the garment is at the end of the day. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
it's
That's the
definitely
reality.
a good ring to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had one more question. Basically, one of our viewers would like to know, how did you actually get involved in Truworths? How did you get into Truworths?
I mean, it's actually not that interesting a story because I just kind of went through a job agent when I was looking, and they kind of put me in touch.
Yes.
Um, and Truworths was looking at the same time for someone, so it was just a kind of right time, right place. But it definitely helped that I knew a lot of people at Truworths, and had established myself and a name for myself in the manufacturing sphere. That always helps when you've got good
Yeah.
references, and people can vouch for your work ethic.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have another question. What have you learned most at LISOF and contributed to Truworths, would you say?
That's a really good question. That's such a good question. I think probably trend. I'm actually using a lot of the obviously in trend you use a lot of, you learn about theory,
Mm.
but here you're actually using it in practice.
Yeah.
So I suppose maybe that's one of the things. I mean, there's many things I've taken from LISOF that I'm using now today, but that's probably the top one, is learning how trends filter through society, whether it's from the up down, up down or down up. And because now I'm part of that trend cycle, because I'm researching every day.
Yeah.
I'm constantly looking for new things,
Yeah.
and trying them out, seeing what's working, what's not working. I mean, also we've got to be aware of trends in South Africa are very different from trends overseas.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we look out a lot of the time.
True.
So it's also important to be aware of our local, what works locally. And that's something that I've probably had to adapt whatever I learned at LISOF, and
Yes.
adapt to more of a local retail space.
And we've got another question. What do you wish people asked you about fashion? And what would your answer be to it? Interesting one.
Okay. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. What do I wish people would ask me? I don't know if it's a matter of if I wish someone would ask me a certain question, but it definitely, I wish people would have maybe a different perception of
Yeah.
of us. And
Yes.
when people hear what you do or what you studied, there's definitely a perception of, oh, so you just draw on the computer all day, or you make clothes. So people often maybe question your intelligence or your skills, ability, or what you're actually contributing to society. So I wish that perception would change, and I wish I wish I could, in response, say, you've got no idea the amount of work and the amount of intellect and the level of creativity one needs to succeed in any realm of this industry, whether you're a designer or in marketing or in trend or in manufacturing. It's really difficult. So I think maybe I just maybe want more respect. But
Yes.
at the same time, we're in fashion. Who
Yes.
cares? We make pretty
Exactly.
things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got another question. How does the process of designing clothes occur, and who comes with the final decision that the design has been approved, and and basically that the chosen design will be designed and sold at retail?
Sure. That's a very intricate question, but a
Yeah.
good one. So basically, and I'm just giving this in a broad sense,
Yeah.
that, we present an idea to a buying team, and the buying team and the design team will work together and negotiate based on how much the garment costs, based on when they can get it there, based on fabric. And so it's a really collaborative effort. But at the end of the day, a designer holds, we're influencers, I'd say. We're retail influencers, where the buyers are the decision makers. Because at the end of the day, the garment has a cost value, which is a big factor in terms of retail decision making. So you could say that at the end of the day, the buyer makes the decision in terms of roles, but we're the ones who give the idea. I hope that answers it. And then they obviously then give it on to the supplier, and the supplier does a whole fit process, and then it gets to a factory and to store. That's very succinct.
And I mean, also, if you think it could be a specific look that is amazing, and it could be, you know, on trend, and the color could be great, but if the price is wrong, at the end of the day, if it's too expensive, it won't sell. So you would question the trend.
Completely. So that's where trend in a retail space is super tricky. And that's why that's why I say we're influencers and we're feeders of information. Because at the end of the day, you've got to marry this trend or idea of what's cool and hip and happening and what's hot out there, and you've got to marry it with, is that going to work for my customer? So that's where the buyer designer relationship is really important. So you've got your numbers person and your ideas person basically working together in order to get the best product for your customer, because maybe trends doesn't work for your particular customer. Maybe you need to kind of home grow a product, which we also do. You know, we come up with original ideas because maybe not everything works for our South African lady. So
So if any of the viewers want to ask any more questions, please do so now. We could go on for hours, Dan.
Our stories.
So I think we've sort of pretty much covered all the topics, and you know, I wanted to say thank you so much, Dan, for meeting with us tonight, and you know, and creating a bit of time for us in your busy schedule. And it was amazing to see you. But before you go, we have something actually very exciting tonight. We've had a lot of viewers obviously watching tonight, and we're doing something special for the viewers. We've been looking at the questions coming through, and basically we're actually going to give away one online short course tonight. So the exciting thing is, so basically, and I mean, the particular short course is to the value of 7,500 Rand, which is unbelievable. And especially in this COVID-19 time, I think it's perfect. You know, people might have a bit of extra time, and you know, it's really, we all hibernate anyway. So I think it's amazing to, you know, be able to
learn a new skill.
Exactly. So tonight, I'm going to announce the winner. So I hope all of you are listening. The drum rolls. The winner tonight of our online short course prize is Papa Smurf. So Papa Smurf, if you're there, congratulations. So Papa Smurf, we will get in contact with you to award you with your prize. And and basically, Danny, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. It was amazing to see you. And when you're in Joburg, please let me know. I'd love to see you again.
I'll come and visit.
Wonderful. Thanks, Dan. Love you lots.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And then I'd just like to say thank you to all our viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and we answered all your questions. Basically, I'd just like to wish you all a wonderful evening. Remember, tomorrow at 4 p.m., please head to Facebook and YouTube Live. We have our Joburg campus tour, which I'll be taking you around, so I can't wait for that. And I just want to say thanks a million to everyone. I really appreciate you being here this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Goodbye.